The idea of creating a digital product, maybe an ebook or a website that just makes money while you sleep, that's the dream, right? Passive income. For a long time, it felt like this huge, almost impossible task. Well, that's all changing. Today, we're going to dive into how AI is completely flipping the script, making it way cheaper, way faster, and just so much more possible to turn a simple idea into actual income. So, what's this number all about? $59,000. That's not some random lottery winning. Nope, that is the actual sale price of a website. A website that was brought back from the dead and grown almost entirely with AI-generated content. I mean, this isn't just a hypothetical. This is a real-world, honest-to-goodness result. And get this, the person who pulled it off? Just a regular Reddit user. They posted this incredible, detailed case study breaking down the entire project. We're talking strategies, costs, the whole 9 yards. It's an amazing, transparent look at how it all went down. So we're going to use their journey as our roadmap for this explainer. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the $59,000 AI experiment itself. Then we'll get into the content blueprint, the planning stage. After that, we'll talk about building your AI writing team. Then, of course, how to actually sell your digital product. And finally, we'll tackle the big one, the copyright Wild West. Okay, let's kick things off with the experiment itself. We're talking about a project that pulled in a 355% return on investment in just 9 months. Seriously. It's an absolute masterclass in using AI to create some seriously explosive growth. Just look at these numbers. They're kind of staggering, right? In only 9 months, they pumped out almost 500 new AI-assisted articles. And what happened? Traffic more than tripled. Revenue shot up from just over $200 a month to more than $2,800. And check out the RPM. That's how much you make for every 1,000 visitors. It nearly quadrupled, which means they weren't just getting more traffic, they were getting way, way better at actually making money from it. Okay, here's a really crucial point you need to understand. This wasn't some brand new site they built from scratch. Nope. This was an old domain, registered way back in 2016, that was just sitting there, collecting dust. It had a little bit of traffic, a little bit of authority. The whole strategy was basically to find this sleeping giant and jolt it back to life with a massive, super targeted flood of AI content. And that brings us to what might be the single most important part of this whole thing, the plan, the blueprint. According to the case study, they spent about a month just on planning, a whole month. Because let's be real, if you mess this part up, it doesn't matter how much content you create. It's just not going to work. It's like building a house, right? You would never start putting up walls without a solid foundation. It's the exact same idea for a digital product. Before you write a single word, before you even think about design, you have to lay that groundwork. This is what helps search engines, and more importantly, actual people, find you and figure out what you're all about. So this foundation is built on 3 main pillars. First up is your metadata. Think of this as the basic info, your title, your description, all your keywords. It's how the algorithms read your product. Second, you need author profiles on big sites like Amazon or Goodreads. This is all about building trust and creating a connection with your audience. And pillar number 3, your own website. This is your home base, the one spot online where you are completely in control of the story. All right, now for the actual content plan. And wow, was it methodical. Step 1. They found all the core topics or entities in their niche, basically all the main ideas and subjects. Step 2. They sorted all of those into a neat structure with main categories and subcategories. Step 3. They pulled out specific keywords for every single subcategory. And boom, those became the titles for their articles. And finally, and this is the real secret sauce, they picked one main category and decided to absolutely dominate it. The goal was to answer every possible question someone could have on that one topic. That's how you build authority. So with that rock-solid plan locked in, it was finally time to start creating the content. And folks, this is where AI is an absolute game changer. It completely rewrites the rules of the game, letting you produce content at a scale and a speed that was, frankly, unimaginable just a few years ago. And this slide right here just says it all. Look at that cost difference. The creators said that before, they were paying about 13 cents a word for human writers. With their new AI workflow, that cost dropped to just 2 cents a word. 2 cents. That is a massive reduction. It means for the same amount of money, you can create more than 6 times the amount of content. Just let that sink in. So, what does this AI writing team actually look like in practice? Well, it's basically a toolkit of these awesome and often free programs. You've got your workhorses like Gemini and ChatGPT to spit out the first drafts. Then you have something like Google's Notebook LM, which is like your personal research assistant. You can feed it articles, videos, PDFs, whatever, and it'll whip up summaries, outlines, you name it. And then to wrap it all up, you use a tool like Canva to make the final product look slick and professional. But, and this is a huge but, you gotta remember this. The creator makes it crystal clear. AI is not a magic wand. The output is only ever as good as your prompts. It's garbage in, garbage out. The best way to think about it is that you're the director. A great prompt gives the AI a role to play, a specific format to follow, and clear rules. You are still the one in charge, and a good director is what gets you a great performance. That's the secret to making content that actually works. Okay, so creating all this great content is half the battle, but turning all of that hard work into actual money, that's the other half. So let's look at exactly how they took all the traffic from those hundreds of new articles and turned it into a real growing stream of income. And you can see the results right here on this timeline. After they pushed out all that content in late 2022, things were quiet for a bit. And then, bam, look at that huge jump in March. That's the moment when the new traffic really started to hit its stride and the monetization tactics started paying off. And from there, it was just a nice steady climb up to almost $3,000 a month. Incredible. So how did they ramp up their earnings so quickly? They pulled three main levers. First, they went hard on conversion optimization. They put these simple tables with affiliate products right at the top of their articles. Super smart, right? It grabs your attention and gets the clicks. Second, they started using video ads, which pay out way more and seriously boosted their revenue per visitor. And third, once the site had some authority, they started selling guest posts, which created a whole new income stream out of thin air. And hey, if you're thinking about creating something like an ebook, the good news is that actually selling it on most platforms today is surprisingly easy. It's really just a handful of simple steps. You upload your images, write your title and description, set your price, upload the actual file, add a little extra info, and you hit publish. Seriously, you can have your product live and for sale in just a matter of minutes. Okay, we've seen the incredible upside, right? The potential is just massive. But, and this is a big one, this new technology brings with it a really new, really complicated problem. Who actually owns the stuff the AI creates? Welcome to the legal Wild West, folks. And this is a serious reality check that every single creator needs to pay attention to. Right now, the U.S. Copyright Office is being pretty clear about one thing. If a piece of content is generated entirely by an AI, you can't copyright it, period. For it to get that legal protection, there has to be significant human involvement. A human has to be the primary creator. The problem is, what exactly counts as significant? That's the gray area, and it's pretty much being decided case by case. Here's a simple way to think about it. Let's compare an AI tool to a human ghostwriter. A ghostwriter is a legal person. You can sign a contract with them, and they can legally transfer the copyright over to you. Simple. But an AI tool, it's not a legal person. It can't own a copyright in the first place, so there's nothing for it to transfer to you. It's a really fundamental legal difference. So what's the bottom line here? What's the real risk? It's this. Any part of your work that was purely generated by the AI, the parts you didn't write or significantly change yourself, could technically be considered public domain. And that means, in theory, someone could come along, copy that part of your work, sell it as their own, and you might not be able to do a single thing about it. And all of this leaves us with this massive, unanswered question. On one hand, this technology gives us this incredible, almost godlike power to create and to profit. But on the other hand, it's blurring the lines of who the author is, of who the owner is, in a way we're just now starting to figure out. So as AI becomes our partner in creation, our writer, our designer, you have to ask, who really owns the final word?